am Paul from K2, and we're going to talk about a chronology of the Log4Shell vulnerability. It started on December 10th with CVE 2021 44228, and it proceeded to 45046, and then finally 45105. So there's been an evolution. As one problem gets solved, new problems are identified. And so what we're showing you here is a series of um, simple Spring Boot applications that will start a web browser and will each include a different version of the Log4J2 library. So in this case, I've opened up the POM file for a copy of my sample app, my demo app. And what I'm doing here is I'm naming it after Log4j version 217, which is the latest available version of Log4j2, which should remediate all three of these CVEs. So I'm setting the version of Log4j2 to 2.17, the latest available version. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, before I do that, I'm going to make sure it runs on its own port. So just making sure that server properties is set to a unique value, and going to go ahead and build it and run the application. So behind the scenes, I'm going to have four running versions of this application. And each one will have a K2 agent in it, and each one will have been built with a different version of the library. So what I'm doing here now is I'm about to start the Spring Boot application, but I'm going to start it with the Java agent command pointing to the K2 Java agent, and I'm running the instance of the application here that has the 217 version of Log4j2. So I'm going to go ahead, start that up. We saw a quick message from K2 saying that it is monitoring the process, and so it's going to be responding on port 4447. So now I've got four versions running, and one is version 2.13.3. It's vulnerable to all of the Log4Shell CVEs. The other one is version 2.15, which fixes the first CVE. I've got 2.16 and 2.17. So now what we're going to do is we're going to visit each of these in turn. So 4444 was visiting version 2.13.3. Then I'm going to visit the web application that is got 215, right? I'm going to visit the web application that has Log4j2 version 2.16. And then finally, I'm going to visit the web application that is running Log4j2 version 2.17, which is not vulnerable to any of the three known CVEs for the application. So by exercising each version of the application, I get the agent to start communicating with the K2 portal. And one of the things that it does is an inventory of all the dependencies that it sees at runtime. So in the application view, everything is there. And so we can look back in time. We can see that there are different versions of the application that are loaded, including 2.16, 2.15, 2.13.3, and they've all been there for a few hours. And in a few minutes ago, I started a version with 2.17. So you can see that this has been there for a while, and the CVE scanning has already been done. And you can see that it's vulnerable to all three of the original CVEs. So the first one having come on the 10th of December. And things have evolved since then. However, if you look at different versions like 2.15, you can see that the 2.15 release fixed the vulnerability to CVE 44228. And then if we look at 2.16, it will also have a fix for 45046, the RCE. So all that's left is the high severity denial of service. And then finally, right, we look and we see that the 2.17 version's CVE scan has completed, There is one vulnerability, but it's in a time leaf dependency, so the time leaf jar file, and none of the Log4j vulnerabilities. So at this point, you can clearly see how the evolution of the Log4Shell vulnerabilities have tracked with the CVE scan capabilities of K2 to allow you to stay on top of the situation and eliminate your risk.